Museveni and Kagame is still continuing to plan about attacking South Sudan. Many of you have noticed the UN Commission's report today. The US Commission's report actually came out yesterday that ties or links Museveni and Kagame directly to the recent killings in Sudan. That was last year. And you wonder why everything is now pulling together and in the public eye. Museveni knows more than anyone that this is definitely something's chasing him. And so with that report from the UN Human Rights Council, they tie Museveni to a massacre in South Sudan when he supports Salva Kiir. In fact, Muhoozi tweeted about these instances where, I'm going to quote Muhoozi saying, he's tired of killing Nuer people. Tell the leader Riek Machar to come and kneel down before Salva Kiir. So this clearly, and this tweet was on March 23rd, 2025, last year, about this time. So it's about a year old, where Muhoozi comes out and says, you know, he's tired of killing Nuer and he would like Riek Machar to come and kneel down before Salva Kiir. As you know, I mentioned that the massacre that is planned for parts of northern Uganda, parts of South Sudan, and parts of Congo, where the Musevenis and Kagames would like to cut off a piece of that land and make their own republic, or an area that's theirs, where they'll create a monarchy or a government of their own. This ties to that because obviously you see that Salva Kiir is part of, I don't know if I can show you, but there's I posted it on my page also. So in case you don't see it, go to my Facebook page. You'll see the tweets from Muhoozi. These were taken right out of this context and was used also to incriminate Muhoozi and tie to his father about what they've done in South Sudan, because in this tweet, he admits action or being part of what they did in South Sudan. The other tweet, Muhoozi says, Dr. Riek Machar is going to kneel down in front of my father, in front of Afande Salva. I will keep him, I'll help him with that. So that means, you know, he'll find a way to bring Riek Machar to his knees before Salva Kiir, who is currently the Sudanese president, South Sudanese president. And he also says he wants 1,000 cows from the Nuer people. He says, if the Nuer elders were wise enough to give me 1,000 cows, I would stop attacking them. So please go ahead and tweet this or share this, tag the UN, tag whatever you'd like to tag, because in their commission, in their reports, these people are directly linked. You know, Muhoozi, like all the other dictators, has helped his father definitely fail or lose his government. And I think he's quite on a quick trip to that. You know, you can compare to presidents like the one from Libya, Gaddafi. His son was untouchable. His son did everything possible. It's on record that his children, the most big-headed, obviously, helped drive their father to failure. There is a meeting that was concluded recently between Kagame, State House, the Security Council in Uganda, where they reaffirmed that they're going to take action on those plans that they have for South Sudan. In those details where they want to cut off part of South Sudan, part of Uganda, and part of Congo to make their own republic. They say that it's going to be a worse genocide, worse killing than Rwanda's 1994 genocide that is documented very, very well. And both parts of northern Uganda and Sudan, that border is going to be closed. So my people in northern Uganda, when you see that the Nimule border is closed, just brace yourselves because it's coming down. That's one of the signs that's going to show that Museveni's attacks or what they've planned for that region is then starting to take place. Not to say that it's not happening right now, because they're already killing a lot of people in South Sudan. And the fact that this commission has come out, just imagine how much more is being hidden and not talked about. So be very, very, very watchful. For people who live around that area, Ugandans living in South Sudan, I think it's time to exit and try to find other avenues to do business. Many of you go there saying you're going to do business, but I don't know if it's worth it. So their plan is to kill at least 5 million people in South Sudan. Okay, 5 million people they want to kill and clear that land in South Sudan. Part of it, they're going to come down and clear northern Uganda. Acholi people who have already been through 20 years of Museveni war, hoodwinked as the LRA war. Yet again, the Acholi people will experience war by Museveni on the nationals. Natural Ugandans from northern Uganda will yet again face a war, and this time they said they're going to kill everything alive, animals, whatever they have. You know, if you remember during the LRA wars, you know, Acholi were really mistreated. They were captured, they were taken into camps, they were put in camps, many of them were slaughtered, some of them humiliated to the extent that they were cooked and had family members eat the dead bodies or the whatever they've cooked of these people. So Acholi, northern Uganda, I will do another video about this. Brace yourselves, tell one another, prepare yourselves. If possible, when you start seeing these signs, do something about it. Document, document, document. I cannot say that enough. Share with people out here. Share with me, because I can get that information where it needs to be. Share and send videos when this starts to happen. So part of that is Museveni is trying to get international organizations to continue to give him aid and money. You know, his government is so broke. He cannot continue to run the government like he used to, because before Museveni was figured out, he would start a war and then pretend to be the one going to rescue, and then the Western world, instead of getting involved, would just dish him the funds to go and try to calm down that war, but intentionally that money would be used for his own purposes. You know, it doesn't make sense why Museveni would try to buy people like the opposition with billions of dollars of shillings, billions of shillings. Imagine the Kasukus just went to the State House to try to get money. Even if he promised them that much, I don't believe that's going to come down the pipeline indeed to them. You know, it's just his own survival mode. He knows that any time from now, because they failed to occupy Congo, you know, everything has come out. There's a severe link of Museveni to M23, which even if they've started with Kagame, Museveni knows it's coming for him. Okay, and like I said earlier, the people who are going to be involved in South Sudan or in this massacre of South Sudan, northern Uganda, and the part of Congo that is linked to that area are the M23 people who were discovered by the US to be linked to Kagame, and obviously now Kagame says they're tied to Uganda, not from Rwanda. So somehow Kagame or Museveni, one of the two is going to take down each other, because in survival mode, you try to save yourself first. You know, there's a reason why in airplanes, when you're about to take off, the flight attendant comes onto the microphone and says, you know, if something goes wrong, if let's say we must make an emergency landing or something like that, put your oxygen mask on first before you put on for somebody else, because you can't give what you don't have. Kagame is in a mode whereby he must rescue or save himself, despite the fact that they're in relations or somehow are friendly with Museveni. It's about time, because the eyes and microscopes are all focused on him right now. He's also trying to pawn it off on somebody else so he can get some relief. So he has already declared, recorded on microphone, where he says M23 are from Uganda, which means, just like we know that Museveni was the one sustaining M23 in Congo, in the forests. In fact, food that was sent for the for the Ugandan army, UPDF, was also sent in the forest where they live, where the M23 operated or lived. The same food that was sent by Uganda Airlines. So, my phone went up there a little bit. In every occurrence, however bad as it could be. Even the LRA war, or the people who experienced the genocides in 1994, even the plane crash that came out of Bangladesh recently, there was a gentleman who survived, scotch-free. And he lives to tell everything that happened, or however things happened, as much as he can remember. So as much as people were killed in Congo, or there's so many M23s that have gone through the hands of the Kagames and the trainings and so on and so forth, there is always people who escaped and are able to tell these stories as well as they used to exist. So many people have run away, escaped, gone into different countries, and are now speaking. You know, when the UN Council comes up with a report like this, it's not out of nowhere. It's because they have the resources and they've gotten every fact possible to back whatever they're claiming or saying has happened. So several M23 defectors actually have been able to speak and given the proper report, despite the fact that they tried to kill, or they did kill, 3 of the main operatives of the M23. There's some who have survived and gotten away and are able to tell these stories quite clearly. Okay, so they're still operational in South Sudan. You know, South Sudan, being a country, is literally run by Museveni. In the video that was posted by the UN about the atrocities that have been happening there, you can see the UPDF badges on the uniforms that the men are wearing. So even if they deny it, the aircrafts are Ugandan. Okay, the airspaces, there's drones or things that can detect who's moving where. The people on the ground, the army, the trucks, you can tell that they're Ugandan. So they can deny all they want. Obviously, the son from somewhere is speaking and telling all kinds of things. He thinks he's bragging, but now we're able to link the two and tie them together. Okay. So the President Salva Kiir is in this thing where Museveni is going to attack Uganda and South Sudan. He has given up. He has given his people up to be destroyed by Museveni, and that's what Museveni and the Kagames want. Because they can't get Congo, they now want to come and get this area of northern Uganda, South Sudan, and part of Congo. So tweet that, share that with the international community, because they're insisting that this must happen. They're going to start from as far as Nakasongola. Okay, so it's not so much of entirely northern Uganda only. They actually are cutting off all the way from Nakasongola. Many of you that have known the geography of that area very well, there is actually a tunnel that is from Karuma that goes all the way to South Sudan. That's how they've been doing certain things or transporting certain things, because South Sudan has lots of of gold, lots of oil. The Museveni people, you know, they don't go to a place where they don't get anything. So because they have all these resources, they're trying to take from there. That tunnel from the Karuma was built by Chinese people. That no wonder Museveni is always in defense of the Chinese, this, that, and the other. That tunnel exists from the Karuma dams or the Karuma Falls all the way to South Sudan. So don't be surprised, because Nakasongola is not very far from the region of northern Uganda. In their efforts to create this kingdom or this part of the country that they want to call their own country, they are going to kill all the inhabitants, everybody, to be able to create that land. In fact, there's documentation that a lot of South Sudanese animals or cows or cattle are disappearing. Same thing happened in northern Uganda. They lost just about every animal. Even if Museveni, you know, claims he's going to compensate them for the losses, he's not. Museveni is the right hand and the left hand. He took the cattle purposely, and that's why his people, the Rwandese people, now own almost 90% of all the cattle in Uganda, because they took it from the people, because when they came, they were refugees with nothing. Okay, so keep your eyes open. In the process of their efforts to try to take part of that region, Museveni has already officially created 5 new rebel groups in South Sudan. Okay, there are 5. Tweet this, share this as much as possible, so that the UN Council, the Human Rights Commission that's trying to figure out who's doing what in South Sudan, Museveni has already created 5 rebel groups in South Sudan. and they're going to occupy that land to form their own country. This is the effort continuing about tearing part of South Sudan and part of Uganda. They asked Tumukunde to be the one to command that mission, but apparently Tumukunde is struggling with poison in his body. As you know, these people, you know, if you read the Animal Farm, these people are going to fight each other from within because Museveni is trying to eliminate evidence. So are the people that are involved in this government. Somehow Kagame is going to take down Museveni, or Museveni is going to take down Kagame. Same thing with their officials and this and that. It's become a situation where they don't trust each other. They try as much as possible to try to stay on the right side of history, but there's no way, and they know it, that they're not going to survive this. Rwandan generals, as you know, have been given sanctions. In fact, I learned today that Kagame's family himself